What Dolly Parton's Imagination Library does, and I get excited when I think about it because it allows young people from birth to start receiving and having books in their homes.
The idea behind the program is to inspire a love of reading and a love of books by gifting a book through the mail in the child's name each month from literally the day they're born until the month that they turn 5. The books had to be new, that there had to be lots of them, and that the program had to feel more like a gift than a charity or a social service.
A red pajama feels alone without his mama. I kind of do this for my own personal benefit. This is the last one they receive in the Imagination Library, and I'll say on the first day of school, oh my goodness, I want to share with you one of my favorite books. And I can tell the kiddos, I have that book, my mommy read it last night. And you can tell, and it's so cool to see because you'll see kiddos that come from a gated community, you'll see kiddos that come in government housing, but they all have access to the same books. So like they start off kindergarten feeling like they are on even playing field because they all know this story. Anybody think any other describing words? Taylor?
Because he was pitching a fit.
He was totally pitching a fit.
Some background on our community educationally is we had a library until the early 2000s, sponsored by the County Library Association. And then when that pulled out of Ceylon, it really left a void here that we just were never able to fill. And that seems crazy in today's world. Who doesn't have access to books will come to a place like Ceylon. There's no libraries here, there's no stores here. We use the term educational desert. It's really, I get kind of emotional because for us, it matters. It matters to us. This is something we need here, because without it, there's kids that aren't going to get books. It just makes me so emotional when I think of the impact this has on these kids. I mean, it's just truly, it's changing lives. It's changing lives, and there's not enough thank yous in the world for Dolly Parton and this foundation and everything that they've done to make this a reality.
Every day I pray that I can do something to uplift mankind and to glorify God. And so I think through the work that I do, that's my whole mission in life. So whether it's the Imagination Library, which I'm as proud of as anything I've ever done, or whether it's songs I write, or whether it's shows I do, I want to make people feel good about themselves and just feel good, period. And I want them to feel good about me.
Hello, I'm Peg Bolgioni, marketing volunteer with the Imagination Library at Rutland Free Library. We're excited to be celebrating our 2nd anniversary and have a special program planned. I will first be speaking with Joan Gamble, our organization's champion, and later with parents Wendy Fitzsimmons and Alexa Stamey. They will share their stories about how the Imagination Library has positively impacted their children. So I'm going to start with Joan. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you. And it's exciting. We're celebrating our 2nd anniversary.
I know!
I can't believe it. Time has really flown by. And I know you have some exciting updates to share with us. So why don't you just begin?
Well, we're very excited. We are now mailing about 400 books a month to children participating in the program. And these books, just to remind everybody, are free to the children, mailed directly to the house in the child's name. We have mailed, since starting the program over the last 2 years, 7,352 books.
Wow, that's amazing.
It really is. I mean, I'm just so proud of that. And then we also have graduates, which is kind of interesting. So any child, when they turn 5, they become a graduate, they can no longer participate in the program. And we've had 127 children graduate. So what that means is to keep our level of participation at around 400, we constantly need to be recruiting children who are in Rutland City, Rutland Town, Mendon, Tinmouth, or Ira. That's where our program covers, because we're part of the Rutland Free Library, who serves those towns.
And let's talk a little bit about the folks, I call them our sponsors, and they have been champions in and of themselves, just making sure our program is well supported. If you want to just maybe do some shout outs to folks.
Oh my God, we have had such support in the community. Really want to thank Rutland City Schools, our largest supporter and ongoing sustaining supporter. We also got a 3-year grant from the United Way when they had the 3-year grants, a mini grant, which was perfect. Both of the Rotary clubs in Rutland, both Rutland City and Rutland Rotary South, have supported us when we were getting started. And we've had a lot of other generous individual donors or community organizations that have supported us along the way.
Excellent. And I know that I think our band of volunteers has expanded as well.
Oh, we have such a great group of volunteers. Peg is our star volunteer, I should say that, who is in charge of marketing and outreach and just brings so much experience and helps us in so many ways. Our other key volunteer is Martha Ide, who is the administrator of the program and makes sure that all the children who are registered are properly registered and works with the families if there's any issues. We also have it's all volunteer labor to run this program, but we do have 2 people from the library who help us. Darby Gorham, who makes sure all the accounting is in order when we get any donations or support for the program. Amy Williams, the assistant director of the library, and then Cheryl Hooker recently joined our volunteer group and has been very helpful.
Excellent. And let's talk a little bit about some of the connections that we've made in the community in terms of getting our books out into different families. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the homeless prevention connection that we have?
That is one of the things that we're the most proud of, I'd say, in many ways. When we were getting started, we realized that there are families that are experiencing homelessness or are moving to places that may not have a stable address. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to make sure and get books to children in those families. And what was interesting is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which really helps organizations like ours do the job, they had not solved that issue. So we have a special partnership with the Homeless Prevention Center, where when there are books that are returned to us because of changes of address that otherwise would get thrown away, we pay a little extra for that in our program to the post office to mail them to us. We then organize them by age so that the Homeless Prevention Center can give them out, because again, the books that are mailed each month to children are chosen to be exactly age appropriate to that child's age. So we make sure the Homeless Prevention Center has that same organization.
Excellent. And let's talk a little bit about how people can sign up for the program, parents and caregivers, because we know that it's accessible to everyone, regardless of income.
Yes, and that is one of the most important messages I want to get across to everyone, and then I'll answer the question of how to sign up. But you saw the video that you just watched a few minutes ago. One of my favorite parts is the kindergarten teacher talking about how important it is to have children of all income levels, whether they're from the gated community or somewhere else in the community, all participate and have that shared experience. So we want to do that as much as possible. An easy way to sign up is to go to imaginationlibrary.com, and it'll pop up, is it available in your area? It's very easy. You can also stop by the Rutland Free Library, pick up a registration form and just leave it there, or go to the Rutland Free Library website, which is rutlandfree.org/imagine. But again, it's open to all children under 5 in Rutland City, Rutland Town, Mendon, Tinmouth, and Ira.
All right. Well, Joan, thank you so much for sharing this very, very important information with our community. And next, I will be speaking with a parent and our newest member of our Imagination Library Committee, Wendy Fitzsimmons. Welcome back to our show. I have with me Wendy Fitzsimmons, who is actually a new member on our Imagination Library Committee, and she's here with her two daughters, Sammy and Emily. So welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Joan is still with us on camera, so I guess we just better get going and get right into those questions. So Wendy, how did you become involved with Dolly Parton Imagination Library?
Well, we became involved through the Pittsburgh community with the McClure Library. And the different moms that would go to reading groups there introduce us to it, and we love it.
Excellent, excellent. So tell me a little bit about how the program has benefited your children.
Well, I think it makes reading fun. Everybody likes getting something new, right, Sammy? We like it when new books come in the mail. And they're things that we wouldn't pick on our own. They have different themes that are great for discussion, and it encourages us. It's encouraging because it's brand new, so we want to sit down and read the book that night at bedtime. And the messages are wonderful. It's just a wonderful program.
Great. And so how old are your children?
Well, Emily's 4 and Sammy is 6.
Okay, so Sammy has graduated from the program.
Yeah.
And I know that earlier when Joan and I were speaking, we wanted to talk a little bit more about the kind of books that Dolly Parton Library has, if you had a few minutes to talk about it.
Sure. She uses a whole group of experts, kindergarten teachers, librarians, child psychologists, to choose the books that are right at age appropriate and, like you said, have good messages, but the group looks at it annually of how to update it. So there are some old favorites, like Dolly's favorite is A Little Engine That Could.
Sure.
So that's an old favorite. Owl Moon, which was a Caldecott winner back in the 80s, is one of the books. And then one of the favorite ones that I remember reading to children recently is the cardboard book, the picture book of vehicles, which is always fun. So it's really choosing those books of what's right when a child's just been born all the way up to when they're 5.
Yes. Do you guys remember reading The Little Engine That Could? We got that book. Yeah.
It's an oldie but goodie.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around for a long time. Do you feel, Wendy, that your children were, well, particularly Sammy, when they were getting ready to go into kindergarten, did it help with their reading?
Absolutely, because it encourages families to make that a priority. Again, it gives them to give a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old something new and in the mailbox is always exciting, so that piques their interest. And when you do that, then that's the book that's selected. Everybody's excited about it at bedtime. So it's just been a wonderful program. It's so simple, but really important. Yeah.
So as a parent, how would you encourage other parents to sign up for the program?
To go to the library, to go to the Rutland Library, to fill out a form. It's very easy to sign up. I actually was solicited by other moms in the Pittsburgh community at different events to put my name on a list for them, and that was wonderful. But if you're not lucky enough for that to happen to you, just reach out to your local library, to the Rutland Library.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Joan, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Well, I just love what you said, Wendy, and I was giving a presentation about this program yesterday to one of the Rotary clubs, and a father said the exact same thing that you did, that there were books that came through the Dolly Parton Imagination Library that he wouldn't have bought for his children, but it's some of their favorite books. And that it really has, it opens up. One of the other books I was really impressed by is one called, I think it's called Mine, Yours, but it's in both English and Spanish. And the books also have how parents can read to children. So if you're not comfortable doing that, it gives you tips of how to read to children, which I just think is so cool.
Yeah.
Joan, I'm just curious. I know globally that Dolly Parton, the Imagination Library, has just grown exponentially. I mean, I think they're up to, I don't know how many books.
Well, I can't remember the number of books. I know they send out over 2 million each month, But to me, the most interesting statistic I just heard, 1 in 10 children in the United States participates in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program and gets a book each month, which I just think is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. What I think is so impressive, it's a global program.
Right.
I mean, it's all over. And I know that we have a very active Facebook page. So we always encourage people to come and check out our page and like it and share it. You know, we try to have a lot of events that are literacy
And
connected.
Yeah, and our goal is, just like you say, to get the word out every way possible. So if you're listening to this, please help spread the word to other parents you know. If you're part of a daycare, make sure we try to get the forms out to all the daycares and all the different places, but it's really hard to reach everybody, and sometimes there's staff changes. So just get the word out there.
And I mean, the address is pretty easy. I think it's rutlandfreelibrary.org /imagine.
Right.
So we're just reminding people, as Joan said. You know,
Or you can go to the Dolly's website, imaginationlibrary.com. That will work too, and just register online there.
well, we're very fortunate that we have Dolly in our corner, and she's done an amazing job just spreading the word about literacy and its importance. And I wanted to thank Wendy and her 2 lovely daughters, Emily and Sammy, for joining us here today to talk about the Imagination Library, and keep reading.
Thank you.
It's important.
Thanks for having us, right, guys? We had fun. We're going to look forward to our next book, right?
Hello, we're back to the final segment of our program, and I am pleased to welcome Alexa Stamey and her daughters, Josie and Adra. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
No, I got Josie.
Josie.
All right, Josie. So again, I know you're involved with the Imagination Library, and so why don't you tell us how you became involved with it?
Yeah, so I was excited when I found out that the Rutland Free Library was hosting the program. So I signed my girls up right away. Adra has aged out. She's in kindergarten now. But as she aged out, we were able to sign up our youngest daughter, Anna. So she's been in it for a year now, and we love it.
That's great.
And Josie's still in it, too.
Good, good. So that must make, I mean, do you guys set aside time during the day or during nighttime for the reading?
Yeah. Adra, you want to say bedtime? What do we do at bedtime?
We read our Dolly Parton books.
Perfect.
We read at bedtime a lot.
Excellent. I bet you look forward to when the mail comes and you get your books every month.
The Dolly Parton Imagination Library, it encourages early literature by providing developmentally appropriate books for children's ages 0 to 5. Children are exposed to a variety of rich and diverse literature choices, which just fosters a love for reading, and they just develop this positive attitude toward reading books. And exposing children to literature at a young age helps them build a rich vocabulary, it helps build reading comprehension skills, it develops the oral communication, and it also increases phonological awareness, all of which are so important for kindergarten readiness.
That's great. Do you ever kind of sense, when students are coming into your kindergarten class, if they've been exposed to the Dolly Parton program?
Yes, you can definitely tell who gets read to a lot at home and who doesn't get read to as much. Children who get read to at home tend to like to read they read them, they just look at the pictures and tell the stories. They can usually sit with books longer and just look at them. We do a read to self during our daily 5 time, and they just love to sit and look. And they build that stamina. The more they're read to, the longer they can sit and look at books usually, which is great.
Yeah. So what do you think are the best things about the program? I mean, I think you've said a lot of it, but maybe as a parent.
As a parent, I think the best part is it makes early literacy accessible to all families regardless of the income levels, because it is a free program. It also, encourages parents and caregivers to read to their children because they're getting these free books sent right to their house. They don't have to go out and buy them. They don't have to go on Amazon and click buy. They just come right to their house every month.
If a child is signed up at birth, they actually receive 60 different books, which I think is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I'm curious myself, and maybe Joan, you could answer this question. When parents are involved in the program, and do they get to select the books each month, or how does that work?
So Dolly Parton Imagination Library has a group of experts that choose the books.
Right.
And they choose which books are mailed depending on the age. And they lay out the books for the whole year.
Okay,
so
got it.
a child from 0 to 1 is going to get this in January, this in
Got it.
February. And it's laid out to be sort of seasonally appropriate and age appropriate. And the group of experts every year does look at the mix of books and updates them to make sure that they kind of keep up with social mores and what's available.
I really like that the program actually grows with the children. So Anna was receiving board books with simple words like, we got the truck book. So she received books of different cars with just the word under it with what the car was. While Josie's receiving, full stories that we can read. And I also really like that the books in the front flap have questions that you can ask your kids, and it gives you extension activities to do with them. It's great.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it has both how to read to your children, and then they've added questions, and really to help, because really we're trying to reach families where the caregiver might not be comfortable reading themselves and might not have been read to when they were young. And so it gives them, like, how do you read aloud? And how, what do you say to your child afterwards? So it really helps. And the research that Dolly Parton Imagination Library has done is, in addition to showing what you're describing in terms of kindergarten readiness and being able to, participate more in kindergarten, that it actually helps the caregivers find a way to bond with their children and calm down their children, that if they weren't exposed to reading, they might not have known that that was a way to bond and calm.
Yeah.
Do you ever find when you're reading to your children that you're acting out the parts in the books?
Yeah, and doing voices and
Right.
and it's fun.
Do you like to, Adra, do you like to act out some of the parts in the book?
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite books? Can you tell us what you liked to read?
Hello Kindergarten.
Yes. Oh boy.
That was her last book, right?
Yeah.
And
Do you
what
go to
else?
kindergarten? Is Mommy your teacher?
No.
No, who's your
Probably a good thing,
teacher?
right?
Miss Martell.
Mrs. Martell.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, do you? How about you?
What's your favorite book?
Can you tell us?
Fancy Nancy.
All right. So she can identify what her favorite book
Nice.
is.
Yeah, and
That's great.
we didn't know about Llama Llama books until we got one in the Dolly Parton mail, and we love the Llama Llama series now too. So we've
that's a
gotten
very
we've
cool
gotten one through the Llama Llama books through the Imagination Library.
Yeah. This is. It's just astounding. Number one, the reach that she has.
teacher, Miss Jen and Miss Ann.
Yeah, her teachers, Miss Jane and Miss Ames.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they read to you a lot, don't they? Yeah.
Well, it's got to be fairly common, in classrooms, especially in early learning classrooms, that they're read to all the time. I mean, that's kind of part of the curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, we do read alouds every day. I also try to do like a chapter book, because you can read to kids several levels above their reading level, because obviously at this age they can't even read. But even Adra is now reading simple books, but to read levels above is so good for their comprehension skills and just building that vocabulary.
Well, I think children at this age too, their minds are so elastic. They're like sponges. They absorb everything. That's why they say the early years are the most important years for development. So that's great. Joan, did you have anything else we wanted to add before we wrap up?
I just hope that anybody listening to this, if you know any families that have children under 5, please make sure that they sign up. It is just, and again, it's not just for people who might not be able to afford as many books. It's for all families to have it be a shared experience so that everyone reads that book before they go to kindergarten, the last book that Dolly Parton has, and then can, like the video said in the beginning of this, the kindergarten teacher just saying how important that shared experience is. So please get the word out there.
That's right. And like our Facebook page. And the website is rutlandfree.org/imagine. And the library, Rutland Library serves Rutland City, Rutland Town, Mendon, Ira, and Tidman. So thank you everybody for watching our program today, and keep reading.